Yay. And how is everybody this fine Friday for me morning?
Doing good, Sam. How are you?
Good. I was a little sick earlier this week, but just a flu.
Just the flu.
Yeah, it's just the flu, man. I was just sick for about a day and a half. You know, all the kids are back in school now, so it's you know, they're bringing home all the other diseases that they haven't brought home for a year and a half.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know, right? Don't you want a child yourself to bring home all the diseases?
Nah, not at the moment.
Sam is offering. Sam is offering them.
Yeah, you can have. I have multiple, so you can have some of mine.
I'm still kind of getting over jet lag. I just flew in from London last night, so.
Do you ever stop flying? I feel like every time we talk, you're on a different planet.
No, I don't. I enjoy. That's my passion is travel.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Good to have a passion. Hey, Dragon, just FYI, I still need to get back to you about those shirts. I know I'm running out of time, but I'll get to you, man. Hopefully today.
Good morning, sir. It's all right. Just let me know. I'll be around.
Yeah, I just need to make sure we get them in time to use them for MCon in Denver in the middle of September, which is why I'm worried about turnaround. What's your shortest turnaround time, do you think?
Probably 10 days, 7 to 10.
Yeah, so I got to get them ordered today.
Today.
Yeah, I gotta get it done. So I'm gonna basically wait till about 9:05 to kick off like the full DAO all DAO call. The one thing I want you guys to be thinking about is I'm gonna try and blitz through some stuff pretty early on, and then reserve the majority of the time for basically questions and answers, some Q&A stuff. So we'll get to that as things roll in. So that'll be good. Because we're finally putting some structure around this chaos, which is great.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah. And it's getting some momentum, which is nice. So getting some good momentum. I'm gonna drop into some Telegram and Discord channels to make sure people have the link. Oh, while I'm waiting, actually, you know what I will do? Hang on one second. All right, let's see. I want to scroll down to this one. Let's see. Down that.
Weird voice.
Hey, Lorraine.
Muted. Sorry. Hey, how's everyone doing?
Good. How's your Friday coming along?
It's coming along.
Is that true for all of us? We're like, yeah, Friday.
TGIF, but then also how much work I have to do over the weekend.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what weekends are for, right? It's for work.
Crypto never sleeps, so yeah.
Crypto never sleeps.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about it. All right, I'm giving us about 1 more minute for people to hop on. Hey, Give, good to see you here.
Hey, hello.
I see you're adding last minute touches to your
Yeah,
presentation.
I realized this morning that I hadn't added that bit.ly link. So what this is I'm going to try to formalize this call a little bit more. So I have a bit.ly link where people can put in their emails that I can then add to Google Calendar invite. So if you guys are interested, you can actually get it on your calendar. So that'll be good.
And your DAO bullying down on your DAO puns.
Oh,
Got him.
Oh, he went there, you guys. That was clever. Good job. I hadn't heard that one before. All right, let's get started. Let's see. I know Globey and Jimbo, you guys are both in the validator chat and the community chat, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So if somebody's looking for the link, you guys know how to get it to them, right?
Right.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So this morning, so first off, welcome everyone. It's exciting to have you all here. It's been about 2 weeks and been fun 2 weeks, and we're doing a lot of stuff, and it's just taking it on its own momentum, which is exactly how DAOs really should work, right? We really should be able to have this very self-generative, community-oriented sort of approach, which is fantastic. But as a result, there's a little bit of chaos that comes into the mix, which is good though. And so the goal is to make sure everyone's informed. We don't necessarily all need to be on the same page. It's just we need to all be informed kind of what's happening, what's going on, and what are the cultural or social norms of the DAOsphere. So let me run through some quick announcements. First off, I saw this week and I thought it was great. There's this Instagram channel that I follow called Dinos and Comics, and I reached out to them and I asked them if I could use this in a presentation, and they said yes. The core thing here that I want to really point out, especially for DAOs, is as long as reality can change, we don't have to accept it. And I love that, right? Because that's exactly what we're working on doing. It's exactly kind of the direction we're going with DAOs. We are changing the nature of work, which is an exciting part to play. So let's talk a little bit about what has happened in the last 2 weeks. So yesterday, the day before, we announced the Developer DAO, which is very exciting. Give has been working really hard on getting this one set up. Our 3 different mandates for this, support, bounties, and advocacy, are up there. You can check out on talk.harmony.one any more details. The deliverables for the Developer DAO are still a little bit TBD, but they're coming. Hang on one second. Let's see. Hey, Wolf, I think you are not on mute, buddy.
Oh, am I not? 1 second.
No, sir.
Uh,
All right, I'm gonna see if I can. I'm just running through really quick to make sure everyone's on mute. Nice. Okay. All right, so that's the Developer DAO. The Developer DAO elections will be coming soon. So hop into talk.harmony.one and take a look at what the Developer DAO is looking at focusing on and seeing if you want to participate in the elections. The next one is the Incubator DAO. Now this, I've been working really hard. Lorraine's our lead governor for this, and she's doing a great job. And we've been working to pull together the Incubator DAO mandate. This is kind of where we're at right now. It's not necessarily settled, but the idea here is the Incubator DAO will help all the different projects on Harmony get traction, which is getting users, get talent, get treasury. When I say get treasury, I mean, look, we need to have some best practices involved in fundraising or tokenomics or anything like that. And also we'll be maintaining a list of investors so that if you want to do a kind of a demo day and reach out, that's exactly, you know, the one that will organize that, which is great. Now, the next 2 that are coming, So we have the Developer DAO, which is launching. We have the Incubator DAO, which is launching. And then right after that, we're going to follow up with the Creative DAO and the NFT DAO. The Creative DAO, we've talked about before, basically as the marketing DAO. And so I'm working on putting together a short list of governors that we may want to bring on board, as well as working on what is it that we want the Creative DAO to do. Now, this is more than, excuse me, pause. This is more than just the making marketing, right? It's more than, it's also, hey, we need a graphic, hey, we need an infographic, hey, we need you know, a GIF. Adrian is definitely going to be a big part of the Creative DAO, and so I'm very much looking forward to seeing that, you know, evolve. And then the NFT DAO was just announced yesterday. Leo is going to be leading the charge with that. I don't know much about the NFT DAO so far, except for its name. So watch the space on talk.harmony.one for more information about the NFT DAO. Now, we are going to be having some more elections, not just the Developer DAO, which we just talked about, but also the Community DAO and the Validator DAO will be running elections in the near future. We don't know exactly when these are going to be, but we know that they're going to happen soon. So again, talk.harmony.one is where you would go to find the information about these, to talk to the various different existing governors and engage with them. For the Validator DAO, the one thing I would point out is you must be running an active validator to be considered for governorship. And that's really it. And then of course, and you can see the mandates there on the screen: decentralization, security, and participation. And with the Community DAO, we're talking about growth, engagement, and diversity. The existing governors have been doing a really bang up job getting them moving and getting them going forward, which is terrific. I'm very excited about what they've done, especially creating some order out of the chaos that currently exists in the DAO market. So one thing that you guys should all be very excited about is compensation. It's happening, right? We have the governors and advisors from the Validator DAO and the Community DAO. So we had 5 governors and 1 advisor for the Validator DAO and 5 governors and 2 advisors for the Community DAO. They got paid at the end of July. And now we are working on, for both of those, into kind of the week by week or month by month payment schemes. The compensation, as we're working for the 9 governors, $75 an hour, 10 hours a week for a 3-month term. That's the standard model for all DAOs, right? The initial advisors, people like Agiv and Larray and Leo, who are going to be kind of the lead governors or the initial set of people helping get these started, those will be also $75 an hour, 10 hours a week for about a 6-week term. And that is what the Validator DAO and Community DAO were both paid back at the tail end of July. Now, the way that we're doing this right now is kind of frustrating. Well, not frustrating. It's just kludgy at the end of the day. I have put together a stopgap Google Sheets form that all the members that I'm running through the Community DAO right now, and the members are putting in their hours and their wallets and all that stuff, and then they'll be compensated. Like I said, it is a stopgap. It's kludgy right now. We're working on the variety of different tools to help make this more streamlined and more DAO-like, so there isn't like a central body that's controlling it. So compensation will be in public, of course, because that's, you know, no information. And then let's see, the hours worked every week. And once I kind of finish our test run today with the Community DAO about how this worked, I'll be rolling this out for the Validator DAO. I'll send you guys invitations, as well as for the Incubator DAO. So you guys have that as well, because those are the next 2 that are kind of coming along. Is it too much of a stretch to say a DAO tape solution? A DAO tape solution? Globy, I don't know what you mean, man. Sorry. Right over my head. That was in chat, for those of you wondering. Duct tape. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't get that. Not at all. And I don't think anybody else did either. So So let's talk a little bit about this Coordinape project that I've also been running through the Validator. Thanks, Josh. Joshua got it. He's the great. I will get to. I'll pop back up to the Incubator DAO in just a second. But let's talk about the compensation for the Coordinape. So I've invited the Validator DAO, the Community DAO, and the Incubator DAO people to join us on Coordinape to test out this tool to see if it'll work. There are some really good potentials about this tool. It creates this very cool social graph of who's working with who. And I'm excited as it grows and grows for this little map of the network to look more like that map of the viral infection from 2 weeks ago. But this will be very cool. And then eventually the tokens that are attributed to people, I'm hoping that we can build those into some sort of reputation token system. Like, oh, I have, I have these the compensation tokens from the Validator, the community, and the Incubator DAO. I have this current stack. So even though all you know is my wallet address and this stack, you know that I have a good reputation, that I've done these things with these people, and that I'm a trusted contributor, hopefully benefiting and creating additional signals for a strong sovereign identity. So I've been working on that. As it comes together better, we'll be rolling it out to more and more. There's currently a beta function that I encourage you all to use, which is called Vouching, where you get the address, the wallet address of somebody else who's not in the circle yet, and 2 people can vouch for them. So let's see. Now I do hear somebody, but I don't see anybody not on mute. Anyway, moving on. Okay, we've seen this one before. I just wanted to reiterate the ways in which we can engage with the DAOs, because we didn't get a lot of time last week to talk about it. Join the Discord. We've set up a variety of new channels for DAO announcements, for the community validator, all the various different DAOs, a join a DAO section, a voice chat. I want to be leaning more and more into the Discord going forward. I'll still definitely be engaging in Telegram because you can't live in crypto without being on Telegram. But the Discord just makes it a little bit easier for me to put out general announcements. Get vouched on Coordinape, please. By the way, my big screen is over here. So when I point over there, that's where my monitor is. So get vouched on Coordinape. And then let's talk, start engaging on talk.harmony.one about the elections, about the things that are up for vote, debate, go back and forth, get some good engagement there. There has been some, and so I'm looking to see it even more. And then finally, track and report the DAO work contribution. This example is no longer accurate. I was trying to use GitHub to help it, but it was just to help report the work, but it wasn't user friendly enough. So yeah, so I've shifted over to using spreadsheets instead. Now, for all of you guys on the call, I want to start making these calls a little bit easier. Instead of just randomly seeing, a pinned message in your Telegram chat, drop into bit.ly DAO emails, and it really is just an email submission form. It's completely optional, but this is the way that I can gather the people who want to be added to the meeting invite. And so I can throw your emails in there so you can have that on your calendar. Okay, so I was able to accomplish all that in 13 minutes, which is excellent. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm excited to talk to you guys all. Oh, actually, before I stop sharing my screen, I want to get back to a question that was on the Incubator DAO. So let me back up a little. Let's see, Incubator DAO. So this is still in development, but the Incubator DAO has 3 main things that we're working on doing. The first one is to create the traction and help projects get to 10,000 users, monthly average or monthly active users, and also to be targeting products for adoption and for including, being included in the Harmony network that will drive further crypto adoption. Really bringing in people from outside the crypto sphere. Then talent is also important because I've heard a lot. I've done some interviews with almost every existing project on Harmony, and they're all saying the same things. Money is nice, love to have money, By the way, just really quickly, can everyone see my screen? I'm gonna unmute Globy.
Yep.
Yeah,
we
you can. Okay, great. Thanks, John. Okay, so I've heard from everybody, money's nice, but there are a lot of ways to raise capital, right? There's a lot of avenues which they can get it. But what we really need is we need developer support and creative support, right? We need talent. So part of what the Incubator DAO is going to be doing is helping find that talent and basically maintaining a list that various different projects can say, hey, I need some help. And then additionally, from a talent perspective, a lot of the times what's been really interesting in the crypto space, and we've seen this with several of the people inherent to Harmony, he's not on the call, so I can toot his horn. Bruno is involved in multiple different projects because he's talented when it comes to being a good kind of project manager and bringing, something from 0 to 1. And so finding those talented founders and supporting them from project to project to project to project, just making sure that they have the support that they need will create a very lively ecosystem and a great welcome community. And then finally, Treasury, again, this is not about us giving a grant. It is about us. Having best practices around tokenomics, having best practices around fundraising, and then also we will be maintaining a list of investors who are interested to see up and coming crypto projects that may want to invest. And so we're working on sort of that sort of stuff. So that was just a review of the Incubator DAO really quick. Okay, now done and done. So let me actually turn it over to everybody here, and you guys can unmute yourself and ask questions. I'm happy to engage. Basically, the idea here is that we want to make sure we're kind of pulling people, informing everybody about what's happening in DAOs.
Sam, I have to jump on another call in 10 minutes. I just wanted to quickly, just to chime in. It'd be really good to give everyone an overview of all the research work we're doing for the various tools and how to make life easier. One area that I'm specifically interested in is getting rid of Google Sheets and all these hacky tools, and moving as much as we can on chain, right? So we're having various conversations. So that's just an update. And in fact, the next meeting I'm jumping on is related to this. So
Awesome.
There's a lot happening there.
Yeah, so Give and I have been going through a bunch of different tools and having a bunch of different meetings with DAOhaus and Aragon and TributeDAO and Coordinape and Tally. And am I missing any so far, Give? Trying to think of any other big ones.
Sorry. Yeah, Tribute, Aragon, DAOhaus, and then the various kind of side projects, add-ons, like Gardens and OneHive and a bunch of other tools.
Yeah, so the idea here is we're basically looking at all of the various different tools to figure out what's the best one that is ready for use. And this is interesting because there are some things about, for example, the TributeDAO that we really like. The way that the structure is coming together and the way that they've formed it is super cool. The problem is their interface right now is just a command line interface, which is not really user friendly for most of us. Some of us can handle the CLIs, but I can't. So we're trying to find stuff that's also ready for adoption, which is where Aragon comes in. Now the conversation with Aragon went actually super well. Give spun up an instance on Aragon that he and I played with about 2 weeks ago. And we are examining the various different add-ons. Like I said, we like the experience. It's probably the leading contender as of what they have right now, what they're offering right now with what we need. And so it's possible that's the direction we're going. We're not 100% sure. Like we're still doing our due diligence and our research. I also love Coordinape, but I feel like there's a last mile component that we haven't quite cracked. we can, put people in the circles and we can say, hey, you contributed, this percentage or that percentage of the work this week. So thank you very much. We can give you the reputation tokens, but linking that to chain integration and linking that to payout right now is still a little, the process is too human centric. There's too much meat space in being involved. So Lorraine has a question about when Aragon will be on Harmony. That's a good question. We're having conversations right now. We don't have like a timeline established yet. It's still, we vetted the technology. We think it works. It has some good stuff. And now we just have to go back to them and talk to them about, what they want to do, what their roadmap is, what their timeline is. So there you go. Gib, was there anything else in specific that you wanted to mention before you hop off to your next?
Yes. So with Aragon, we've spoken to them. They're interested. Seems like they're understaffed. All of their developers have cashed out and moved to the Cayman Islands. So their roadmap's affected by it. But what we're doing is we are looking at deploying Aragon on Harmony in the next few days. That's what I'm working on. So hopefully we can, kind of spin up these DAOs. But yeah, there's a side conversation happening with Aragon, so they can officially add it as an option. So when people go to create a DAO, they can select the network, and Harmony will be one of them. But so they're not blocking us. We can definitely roll this out on Harmony whenever we want.
So give 2 questions. Would the rollout be rollout to mainnet or to testnet?
Well, initially it'll be testnet. We'll share it with everyone here, so you can just go and poke around and play with it. And the good thing with Aragon is that they have a like this modular add-on plugin system. So if the organization has very specific needs, for example, we need timesheets, you can either use an add-on that the community has created, or we can create bounties and have a bunch of new add-ons created for us that are very specific to that. I'd imagine the Incubator DAO will have very specific needs, and the Protocol DAO will have specific needs. So it's a really nice way to extend it. And obviously we give that back to the Aragon community, and others can take advantage of it. But it's been like the most flexible framework that I've seen so far. Tribute also has a similar functionality where you can add on modules, but they're so early. I don't think that's really viable right now. So Aragon's looking like the winner. Mm-hmm.
And then the let's see, the second question was going to be, okay, so mainnet, there's a follow-up question. I swear I had a follow-up question, but for the life of me, I can't remember. So if it's important, it'll come back, I promise. And then, so that's the status with Aragon. So yeah, what other questions do people have? Give needs to drop off in about 2 minutes. So if you have any quick questions for Give, let them know. Oh yes, Colony and Orca are also 2 others that we're looking at. Lorraine, just so you know, they're on the roadmap of things to look at. Aragon right now is basically the front runner, but it's not necessarily going to be the long-term winner. Jimbo, you had a question.
Yeah, so I do have a question. As far as the DAO and the DAO treasuries, currently multi-sig wallets don't have the ability to do things like staking or investing the funds to create a perpetual treasury. Is there a plan in place? Is there something with the one wallet development that's going to allow us to do multiple SIGs, but still use the funds in a way that generates more revenue?
That is a very good question. It's one of the things that we want to have happen. It's probably, I would call that a little bit of a phase 2 question, unfortunately. Like phase 1 is just, let's get the basics operational, like Aragon setting it up, being able to run DAOs, being able to run votes, all that stuff. And then, but once we have that, we can start also building up, okay, let's have a multi-sig wallet in one wallet that enables, the staking functionality to take place. It's brilliant. It needs to be on the list. do not let me forget it. Okay, Jimbo? Thank you, sir. Giv had to jump off. I would also, thank you very much, Giv, for your time whenever you watch this video. The one other thing that I did want to mention is a little bit about quadratic voting and voting in general. This is one of the things that we want to build into Aragon, is a variety of different mechanisms to vote so that people who are running the DAO or running a vote can choose, is it one coin, one vote? Is it one wallet, one vote? You have to have a BLS key to vote for the validators. Are we doing quadratic voting? Are we doing quadratic voting with particular bands? All of those things we want to have included. We were gonna roll it out. I rolled it out as a bounty, but then we realized that our snapshot is so customized at this stage that we would have to go back and do a lot of removing of some legacy technical debt to get it to the point that we could roll out our own, home-baked voting mechanism. So we decided to push that voting mechanism into kind of whatever the platform is that we're going to use. The other thing I was going to mention is that means for the upcoming votes, the Validator DAO still has their mechanism going, which is their BLS keys. But for the community DAO, Developer DAO, for those that are coming up for an election within the next month or so, that's probably going to be one coin, one vote. So just be aware of that. And that's kind of how that'll work. Let's see, Globy.
Hey, Sam. I think I broke my FaceTime camera on my Mac. Either that or it was just looking at me too long and it just decided to quit. Kind of just piggyback off of what you were just wrapping up there. Have you guys settled on dates for the follow-up elections on those that we were looking at that were coming up?
That's a good question. I would like to see it by the end of September for sure. But let's have a conversation. I don't want to force a date on anybody, right? I know that the Validator DAO had a lot of things that they wanted to accomplish in their first term. And I know that the community DAO, we want to expand both the Validator DAO and the community DAO from 5 governors to 9 governors, but we don't want to do that without a community vote, without people being able to talk about it and run. And so there are not competing, but they're just things that we need to pull together. So I'd love to see them happen in September. But at the end of the day, I am just one voice, which I want to try and encourage all of us just to be as one voice. I did want to get back to Josh had a question. He said he heard something about DAOhaus earlier. So Josh, we are also looking at DAOhaus and doing kind of a Moloch DAO type build. That progress is going slower than the progress that has been happening with Aragon and Tribute and some of the others. And so there isn't any great news to report, but it was one of the first ones we looked at and we really like a lot of the stuff that it does. We love the idea of rage quit. I think Tribute innovated on that a little bit with the idea of a DAO kick, I think is what they called it. And for those of us on the call, the rage quit is the idea that if you do not agree with a vote that is being cast, then you can just take your ball and go home, right? There are certain vulnerabilities for a DAO that's small and managing a treasury that would introduce, but it's manageable. And then the other thing with a DAO kick, if that's the right word, everyone could vote together and kick somebody out of a DAO if they don't like them. So, which is kind of a cool idea. Sometimes you can have some very toxic individuals that'll pop in and you have to have ways of managing that. Okay, let's see. Rebecca, you had a question.
Yeah, I had kind of a 2-part question. I was curious if there's been much thought about how all of the DAOs are going to interact together, as I imagine a lot of our projects and work would overlap. And then the second part of that question is with the Core Harmony team, is there a conversation with how these DAOs will play into creating the larger roadmap and or possibly like decentralizing the core team and that community over time? And or how will the DAOs work with the core leadership and kind of producing what we work on?
Man, Rebecca, whenever you ask questions, they're always tough ones. Ugh. Okay. Okay, so the first question was, is there going to be a DAO of DAOs? There has been discussion around this, right? There has been a lot of discussion about saying, okay, once we get these kind of set up and running, how do we make sure we coordinate between DAOs? And across the industry, people are talking about this. It's very important. There isn't a solution, a perfect solution in place yet, but we have talked about it. There's the idea that says that, you know, especially over at Orca, you have the way that the Orca DAO works is kind of you have a master DAO and then you have a series of sub DAOs, and then the sub DAOs, you have the possibility of the sub DAOs voting up into the DAO of DAOs, right? And so like what that would mean is, you know, I have let's say it's X DAO down here, and we vote affirmative on a vote, then that X DAO vote would go as one vote up into the DAO of DAOs. And so Y DAO may say no on the vote, all of their community members. And so it's much more of a delegated or representational democracy rather than a strict democracy. But so that's been discussed. We don't have a solution yet. If you want to build one, that's awesome. That's what we're here for. And Josh probably has, by the way, Josh Lapis, he's over there from Sport DAO. He's awesome. And I'll be hanging out with him in Denver in a little bit. Then the other question was, how does the core team interact? So that's a really good question. There's a lot of conversation about this. So from the side of the core team, let me see if there's anybody else in the core team on the call now, because Give took off. So the side of the core team, one of the things that we're being very careful about is making sure that we don't tell everybody on the core team that you're not going to have a job in a year. That being said, the goal is to get most of the core team moved into DAOs in one way or the other. So we'll see how that works out. I have started talking a little bit about having core team members serve as governors and be compensated as governors in some of these DAOs as they roll up. We're not quite there yet. I think that if we were to do that, we'd start taking over too much of the control. But the idea, going back to what we talked about last week, the idea of being non-monogamous with your DAOs and have a very fluid and no conflict of interest is a super important concept that maybe we could lead the way on. But it's you know, it's very hairy. Like there's a lot of stuff involved in that. It's like, wait, Sam, you are being compensated from, you know, Harmony Foundation. Why would you also take money out of the mouths of the NFT DAO or whatever? Conversations to be had. Like we're trying to be very open about this and discuss as much as possible. Rebecca, did I answer the question well enough?
Yeah, no, that's great. I wasn't anticipating a exact answer, but was more curious on the long-term thought process, and definitely have thought a lot about the DAO governing structures and how you could delegate a DAO to do all of that. So I think that definitely could make a lot of sense down the line. I'm happy to hear you guys are chatting about that already.
Yeah, and Lorraine has a good point in the chat where she says Colony, which is one of the ones we're looking at, is a really good option when it comes. Colony and Orca both have really good kind of ways to piece it together. Josh is making funnies in the chat. Will DAO be called DAO? Because I think because I DAO that would work. Okay, I have no idea what that even means anymore, Josh. I got lost in it. All right, I think the next person up was Nick. Nick, you had a question. You're still on mute, bud.
Yeah,
there you go.
I just need to unmute myself. Hey guys, I'm a little bit late. Yeah. So my question is very simple right now. It's just regarding to new mandates for new DAOs, because I'm working on building CIS DAO right now, and for me it's very important to set up these mandates. And I wanted to know that can I create these mandates myself and share with you, or do I need to wait it from the core team for the mandates just to send a request for the mandates, kind of this?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Thanks, Nick, because this also came up a little bit recently involving the Da Vinci DAO. And let's see, is Bruno on the call? Because I have to follow up with him too. So one of the things that we want to do is, based on the conversation 2 weeks ago, to be funded from Harmony, you need to have a mandate, but having a mandate does not mean that you will get funded from Harmony. Does that make sense? Like there's a difference between necessary and sufficient items here. So when it comes to what the mandate is, our belief is that if you can get, 9 governors around what your mandate is, that means that you have some traction about what it is you'll be doing. And so for the community DAOs, if they can come together and say, okay, we got 9 people, they all agree on this particular mandate, and we're going to move it forward. And we're going to talk about this in talk.harmony.one, which creates a little bit of an issue when it comes to something like the Spanish DAO or the CIS DAO. It's not like we just have to be careful with that, right? We have to make sure that we frame that correctly and we have a good conversation. But that's the idea. Work with your group, work with your community, work with the people that you want to have be your governors to come up with that. It shouldn't come out of one person's mouth. There should be a community that all comes together and says, let's do this. That's one of the reasons why the Incubator DAO mandate is still a little bit in process, is even though I've been working with Lorray and the various different other governors on the Incubator DAO, so far the drafting of it has been really my work that's been done. And they're like, oh yeah, we really like it. But it really needs to come from them. It can't necessarily just come straight out of my own mouth. So really quickly, the really bad DAO joke, will DAO be called DAO because I doubt that would work very well. That was Jonathan, not Joshua. So sorry, Joshua, for putting that bad joke in your mouth. Nick, your hand is still raised. Do you still have a follow-up question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you just answered a lot, but actually I didn't have an essence of your answer, just because my question was very simple, Sam. What you told me that it's already clear for me, I do know, and I don't know what my goals to set up this DAO, but the simple thing is I need to know the process. Do you want to hear the mandates from me right now, and we can discuss them, or should I wait for just mandates from you? Maybe I need to give you some additional information to make that mandates on CIS DAO, because my initial agreement with Lee, and probably about this, just was 2 months. I have 2 months to communicate the CIS DAO to the community, and I have a plan. I started working on this, and I just set up some community events within the Russian-speaking communities of Binance, of KuCoin, and everywhere, just to know people about that Harmony is going to go the DAO way. And right now, I need to present something to people, and I'm stuck. I need those mandates. And will you be able to hear from me those mandates, or just I need to wait from you? And how?
No. You tell me, but you post them. You tell me that comes from you, but you post them on talk.harmony.one, and you gather some communication, right? Okay. So it comes from you to me, well, to everyone actually. I want to see if I can be clear about this. I really am trying not to be the gatekeeper for any of this stuff. So, but I just happen to be engaged in so many aspects of the DAO, like I'm understanding the process a little bit better. So it comes from you to us on talk.harmony.one. We get the conversation going. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, actually,
Perfect.
Yes, right now.
Right. And Gian, I believe you just said there should be a procedure or template ongoing. I'm actually working on a playbook for DAOs about what the process is. It was supposed to be done on Tuesday, but I got sick. So look for that early next week. I'll be publishing. It's straightforward because we want to keep this as straightforward and flexible as possible. In a simple term, yeah. Well, so there is something. Setting up a DAO is super easy, and you can just tick the box. Setting up a DAO that then receives Harmony funding, that is going to be something slightly different, which is why I'm working closely with Lee and with Steven and with several others about saying, okay, I need very strict and straightforward guidelines. Because what I do not want to have happen, and I do not want to make it seem like this is what it is if somebody knows me or somebody knows Lee or somebody knows Steven, those are the ones who get the funding. I don't want that to even be a sniff or a smell in the wind, right? I want it to be a very clear guidelines about which ones are important to get funding. And I don't think we have that clarity yet. Steven's done a lot of good writing on this about what he wants to do, but I don't think the clarity is there for people to be able to say, oh, okay, I got this, this, and the other. Nick, you have your hand raised again? You're on mute again, buddy.
Sorry, again.
No,
Going
don't worry
forward
about it.
with your previous question, yes, just about the tick the box or something like this. Okay, Sam, it's very clear for us what our governance going to do. Yes, but what's the interest of other community to join those DAOs? Because DAO is not only 9 people actually. And
Correct.
what is the interest? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I didn't talk about it this week, but I did talk about it last week. I'm not going to go through the effort of pulling back up for everyone again, because I don't want to distract you all. But the idea here is that DAOs in general should be a little bit of a self-forming function where people of similar interests come together to accomplish those interests, because it is that passion of pushing forward in this interest that can actually make the progress and the speed and the adoption and the work and the productivity be faster than traditional hierarchical structures, right? Because in general, a couple of people running together with their heads cut off in a DAO format, not going to do the job that we needed to do. It's not going to be productive. But if those couple of people running around with their head cuts off are extremely passionate about the thing that they're doing, that's going to push it forward, right? That's going to make it go faster than the other ones. So that's why people get involved. I'm very interested in Validator, so I'll join the Validator DAO. I am part of the Harmony community, and I want to participate in the Harmony community, push that community forward, expand it, grow it, do things for it. That's why I'm going to participate there. I'm passionate about fundraising. I'm passionate about, growth hacking. So I'm going to join the Incubator DAO, right? So those are things that you're going to see kind of start cropping up. Does that help answer your question, Nick?
Actually, yes, but my understanding of DAO is based on the original design of the DAO, just like a few years ago. Yes, and an original design DAO is a kind of protocol, maybe a kind of piece of code that incentivize all the people, not only governors.
Correct.
If we will lead the community DAO, for instance, by 9 governors and communicate with the community kind of things, we need to communicate with them. It will be just kind of 9. It's my feeling right now. So it's going to be just 9 community managers who are very interested to participate in DAO, but all other people is just a simple community who are not, because they are not involved into just voting process right now. They are not involved in the incentives process. So they will just read, maybe just see, but I mean, this side of the medal, what is the interest for them to participate in DAO right now? Just because I heard a previous talk, and yes, maybe some implementation of Aragon or other tools, it might help a lot. But for now, what we should communicate to other people about the DAO? What is the core message for them?
Core message is
core message is already known. You just announce it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Let me ask Jimbo. Jimbo, you have your hand raised really quick.
Yeah, so I actually just wanted to respond to Guyan's question requesting kind of a to-do list. The idea behind a DAO is that it should be a group of people coming together, brainstorming on ways forward, not necessarily a checklist or a to-do list. It's kind of a self-starter organization. So also, Nick, you're doing this community DAO for Ukraine and Russia. Talk to Brother One Validator. He might have some input for you.
Yeah, and we also have, we also have Abraham is working on the Spanish DAO as well, but we can get into that a little bit later. I did want to flag, Lorraine has been a part of multiple DAOs, and she's a very great asset and advisor to how the DAOs are coming together for Harmony. She pointed out that, every DAO should have a manual. They should have a mandate, how to join, basics around the governance module and having that stuff constantly updated. And that ends up being the best way to go forward with organizing a DAO. The other thing I'd flag is the fact that DAOs are inherently very fluid. Think about it, and I keep using this example. I like to think about it in my mental model of a book club. I can join a book club on Wednesday and then decide not to come the following week, right? I can, like, it can be a very fluid interaction with how much I engage with that community and how much I don't. There is a piece of discussion that's happening around in the larger DAO community around what does the autonomous a part of DAO mean? Because to Nick's point, the original idea was this is an organization that's run on code, that humans are on the outside. That is still trying to come together, but we have found in the implementation of DAOs over the last couple of years that multiple different flavors of DAOs are coming around. You have ones that are based on investment and pooling resources to be able to purchase assets, like Flamingo DAO. But then you also have some that are based on look, we're buddies, we're friends, we want to hang out, we're friends with benefits, like FWB. And so they're coming together more as a social club. And then their tokens are evidence that they are part of this social club when it was formed. And so they're a wide variety, wide spectrum of what DAOs are being used for. And we have to be reflective of that. So hopefully that helps answer. So let's see, I think I have time for one or two more questions, and then we can adjourn for the next 2 weeks. Although, you know, my direct messages are always open, my DMs are always open. So any further questions for today?
Just a quick one, Sam. So I've just taken a look at the Discord with various DAO groups. I think it's awesome. I'm sure, like everyone else here, we've got so many Telegram groups with so many different people in. How about we get like a DAO governors chat going in there? Just so governors can jump on. Maybe it'll be one-stop shop for you to jump on and find everyone there as well. And maybe, you know, for people like Nick that has a couple of questions about, you know, what information needs to put together, we can maybe help out as well.
In Governor DAO chat group in Telegram or on Discord?
Discord.
On Discord, yeah, I can create another channel for that. That's not a problem at all. That's a good call.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Wisdom of the crowds. Anybody else?
If no one else has a question, I can see the Harmony bite just over your shoulder there. When will the giveaway start?
Every time somebody asks me about this, I have to remind them that's my wife's bike. If I want to make her really angry, I'll give it away or sell it or something. But until then, please do not send me to sleep on the sofa. I would not like that. Or for those of us in Canada, the Chesterfield. So I would not like to sleep on the Chesterfield. Lorraine, that joke was specifically for you because I know you're Canadian. Okay. Okay, so the last thing, so for the community DAO members that have the spreadsheet, please fill it out for the last week so I can actually kind of start churning on the next stage of that, which is, you know, financing your hourly wages. And as I finish that, I'll be rolling that also out to the Validator DAO and Incubator DAO so that you guys can also be doing the same thing. Hopefully, as soon as possible, that spreadsheet will go away. I'm really looking for to using more automated system than that. The next thing I was going to mention is visit the bit.ly/DAO emails. Throw your emails in there. So the next time I can just send out a meeting invite to the people on there, and we can make it a little bit easier than me hunting down all the various different Telegram groups and Discord channels. All right. If that is it, you guys, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll keep this chain moving. And thank you all so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate your work.
Thanks, Sam. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.